It's funny. Sometimes the most incredible stories are hiding right under our noses, in the most obvious places. Today, we're going to look at a word you use all the time, a word so simple you've probably never given it a second thought. But oh, it has a secret to tell. Seriously, think about it. The word after. What could possibly be special about it? It's just there. It's the glue in our sentences. But what if I told you it's a key player in this huge, ambitious plan to totally change how we all communicate with each other? I mean, we use it all the time without even thinking, right? Let's meet up after lunch. Or, in sequence, B comes after A. It's so fundamental, it's almost invisible. But that's exactly why it's so incredibly important. Now, to uncover its secret, we don't need to be some kind of super sleuth. All we have to do is look at its dictionary page, specifically the one in the Simple English Wiktionary. Because right there, hiding in plain sight, is this one little clue. The page literally says, after is on the Basic English 850 list. Okay, what on earth does that mean? It sounds like some kind of VIP list for words, doesn't it? And, well, in a way, it kind of is. Right, so that one sentence, that's our breadcrumb trail. It's the key that unlocks this whole thing. So let's follow it. Let's figure this out. What exactly is the Basic English 850 list? Okay, so Basic English, it was this amazing idea from back in the 1930s. And the point wasn't to, dumb down English. Not at all. The goal was to create this super efficient toolkit for the whole world to use. A common language for science, business, you name it. And that was the magic number, 850. The folks behind this believed that with just this core set of words, you could say pretty much anything you needed to. I mean, think about that. It was a totally radical idea, especially as the world was starting to feel a lot more connected. Just try to wrap your head around that. Not the thousands and thousands of words we normally use, just 850. The idea was that with this small set, you could get your point across to anyone, anywhere, as long as they knew the list too. It was like thinking of language as a tool, a technology for bringing people together. So, if you're going to be one of only 850 words chosen for this list, you've got to be a real workhorse, right? Heavy lifter. You have to do a ton of work. So, how does our little word after manage to earn its spot in this exclusive club? Well, its power really comes from the fact that it's a 2-for-1 deal. After is a master at explaining relationships, and it does it in two super important ways, by talking about position and by talking about time. So for position, it's simple logic, right? B comes after A. Easy. And for time, it does the exact same thing. It just sets up a timeline. He came home after Jane. See? That one word handles both jobs. That's incredibly efficient. And that's really its superpower. In a system where you're trying to save on words, you need words that build the skeleton of your sentences. After creates order. It tells you what comes next, which is, one of the most fundamental things you need to do to tell a story or give instructions. Another way to see just how important it is to look at its total opposite, which the dictionary entry gives us, before. This simple pair, after and before, they create this complete system for talking about sequence. With just those two words, you can map out pretty much any timeline. And you can see it's part of this small, really tight-knit family of ideas. Words like afterward and when are all clustered around that same core concept of sequence. In a system like Basic English, the single word after has to do the job for a bunch of these related ideas, which makes it absolutely essential. But here's the cool part. This whole idea didn't just fade away in the 1930s. Oh no, it evolved. It grew into something that we actually still use today. Yeah, that dream of having a simple, accessible language for everyone, it's still very much alive. It just, looks a little different now, here in the digital age. And this is where it all comes full circle. Remember where we started this whole journey? The source for this entire explainer, the Simple English Wiktionary, it's basically the modern-day inheritor of that whole Basic English philosophy. The goal is pretty much exactly the same as it was back then. Use simpler words and sentences to tear down barriers, to make knowledge available to everyone, whether you're a young kid learning to read or someone learning English as a new language. And that's why a word like after is so perfect for these systems. The idea it represents, what comes next, it's completely universal. And the source page itself gives us some pretty amazing proof of that. Just look at this. This is just a part of the list of translations on the page. Spanish, French, Japanese, Arabic, Russian. On it goes. Almost every language has a core, simple way to say what comes next. It's something we all get, a fundamental part of how we experience the world. So, what's the big takeaway here? This whole deep dive into one little word, it actually uncovers this much bigger idea. This whole effort to find core words like after isn't just some boring language puzzle. It's a project in human connection. It's about trying to make communication and knowledge universal. And that leaves us with one final thing to chew on. Creating a simple, accessible language. It's a fantastic goal, right? But language is also where we find poetry and subtlety and all this deep cultural meaning. So you have to ask yourself, what's the right balance? What do we maybe lose when we pick simplicity over nuance? It's a trade-off that's definitely worth thinking about.